They taught me the world only makes sense if you force it to.
Needed to help bring the men who murdered his family to justice.
So he could turn out like you?
So that he wouldn't.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the DC fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. Before I start, I just always want to compliment that the DC Bullet is back, and I love it, and I hope it never goes away. Also, I do have a playlist with Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman, so feel free to check them out. Today, we are looking at Absolute Batman number 4 from 2025. That looks awesome. Wow. This issue is not drawn by Nick Dragotta, so it's going to look a little bit different. Here are the variant covers. I always include them. I'm not a big fan of variant covers per se, because they're nothing more than a cash grab, but, you know, what can I say? I'm an old man. I also prefer newsprint. So, alright. Although some of these covers are pretty cool. But, you know, 7 covers does seem a bit ridiculous. And so, Mr. Wayne, for the court's clarification, this morning Mr. Chill was prepared to give a statement, but you requested to speak first. You said it was urgent. It's unconventional, but given the extraordinary nature of this case, I've granted you the right. And you can see Bruce just kind of sitting there, ready to break down. You can go ahead now, son. So, what is it you have to say as a tear runs? If you remember, only his father has been killed. His mother is still around. And so, real quick here, this whole issue is really how this absolute Batman becomes Batman. So how Bruce Wayne. So it's gonna flip back and forth between Bruce Wayne becoming Batman and then that kid, Bruce Wayne the kid in that trial. So it's gonna go through different things. Unfortunately, there's really not going to be anything that is going to tell us, hey, this is... So we sort of are going to have to figure out. And so this guy here says, go on, convince me. Tell me why you three alone should be exempt when everyone else chips in. And some folks really have to scrounge. You don't want to know the things they do to contribute, right, Simon? And he says, heartbreaking. But they have pride in this place, Historic Park Row. And, you know, these days people call it Crime Alley. But upkeep takes money, so tell us. No. Tell your neighbors out there, why don't you care about your neighborhood, Mr. Gwyn? And, didn't he say... Oh, Mrs. Gwyn, I'm sorry. And she says, I care plenty. My mother grew up here, and I have 3 girls in school. And he's like, Titi, no, Henry, it doesn't matter. I won't pay a gang. And he says here, Mrs. Gwyn, we're misunderstanding each other here. 10 Thieves isn't a gang. We only want to keep this place safe. Without proper funding, though, we just can't do that. And they push her out. See, we don't stay vigilant, and things get real unpredictable real fast. You never know what could happen. And, real quick here, it almost looks like a marker is being used, and suddenly Mrs. Gwyn is back here, And he's like howling as he looks down. Alec, you see anything? And then suddenly these guys all eyes wide open, and we get um Batman here. Nah, Raph, nothing. And look at that scree as he yells and hits him, and then looks at he even has pointy teeth and the red eyes, and he gurgles something, and Brody says, the leader, what'd he do to him, man? And then he goes hiss and cuts him with some claws, similar, I guess, like Wolverine. And he's like, stay away, I'll blow your damn head off. And he fires the gun as everybody else kind of goes away. And so he uses his cape to hold the guns. As I mentioned before, this art isn't our normal art, but this is he's a fill-in artist. Hopefully Nick comes back next month here. So he punches him, he says, and aims the gun at him. And he says, I choose a bat. So now we are going before Thomas Wayne was killed. And he says, sorry, Bruce, choose a bat for, says the dad. And he sighs. The Young Engineers Competition. It's held at the zoo this year. A lot of their animals come from distressed areas, so we have to build a bridge for a place like that, but themed around an animal. And Bruce says, well, and his dad says, it's big. And Bruce says, that's the idea, Dad. Bats are intimidating. I made the piers super high, reinforce them. See, they're gates all along. So the dad says, and Bruce says, what? I just wonder if that's really the best strategy for a place in need. Intimidation? And Bruce says, it'll make the people inside feel safe, protected, and it's strong. I tested it up to 30 pounds. And the dad says, great job. I'm proud of you. Good luck with it, son. So back to Vampire Batman here. And so from behind, someone says, drop it. I said frickin' drop it now. So other goons come in here. And this is wrong as Batman gets away here. What are you doing, Bruce? And so we are now with probably teen, maybe young adult Bruce. It's just freaking theatrics. The face paint, the voice disorder, the silicone fangs loaded with paralytic, and this, he means the gun here. They're street criminals, the most desperate. Scare off 10 thieves. Others take their place. No. And so he's reading as he goes into the subway. Now he's looking at the computer here. But it's not enough. Batman needs to do more. And here, doing the weights, think bigger. So build him, Bruce. And so like I mentioned, this is basically a one-issue Batman Year One. The pipeline comes up from Florida, where guns and farm laws are looser. They call it the Orange Blossom Trail, and here he's been investigating, touching the uniform here. So he's doing his research. 80% of illegal weapons ride it into Gotham. The gangs in the row get almost all their guns and pills on the OBS. The material comes up in produce trucks because weight records are less exact. Citrus mostly. They say the guns smell like oranges when they fire. And so he's looking through the binoculars. All of it comes to Gotham through the checkpoints run by the Maronis and Falcones. The families shift the hot point into point each month to avoid raids. Raids they know are coming anyway. Look at them. They do it all in plain sight. And why not? They're not street criminals. They have to deal with a dozen companies in Gotham and at least 3 banks. So you can see money as the cops are being bribed here. they're just too damn large to take down. And so as the truck's riding through the tunnel and the lights, and here comes the Batmobile. I actually love this. Like I said, I think this is a marker. What do you guys think? I think that he's working with markers to create this. And so what it is, it's a little Batmobile here. And so it's going underneath the truck. And so these two are talking, and they see Batman right in the middle here. What the? Run him down. Come on. And so he aims this thing at it, and this little Batmobile coming here, he does click, and from the Batmobile comes this thing, and you see the boom, and it says here, a Battlejack, an AC Roadster loaded with a 4,600 kV, some black paint, all under $1,000. And so it pushes this the trailer of this truck up. A trailer weighs less than the truck. See, Bruce, now this is better. And so the guns fall from the crate, and this guy's like, what the hell was that? I don't know, man, but we need to get out of... And then Batman clotheslines this guy, kicks this guy, punches this guy. The guy hits the wall here. I think maybe I figured it out as Batman stands looking at his 3 fallen foes. This is a great panel. You know what? It does look a little different because we're used to Nick Dragotta, but this guy's doing a really good job. I like it. And so so remember, he says, I think I figured it out on the previous page, and the dad says, oh yeah? And Bruce says, check it out. Bats adapt. Besides rodents, there are actually more bat species than any other mammal on Earth. Why? Because they use echolocation to map an area. They learn it, and they adjust to succeed there. This version, the plings are adjustable. The deck is on the rotators. The girders can extend. And the dad says, it's really impressive, bud. I love it. And Bruce says, do you think it's good enough to win? And the dad says, I don't know, but all that matters is that you feel it's the best you can do. That it shows what's special about a bat at its core. And Bruce is testing it here. I mean, I think so. How do you know what anything is at its core, though? Right? And so he keeps testing the weight here. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's trial and error. You know, before you were born, all I wanted to be was a doctor, a heart surgeon. And Bruce says, seriously, why? When I was a kid, my dad, your grandpa, he drove a G39 bus route 6 days a week. On his days off, though, the two of us would go down to the amusement mile, walk on the pier. There was a guy there who sold these frozen bananas dipped in chocolate. We'd get one. I love it. Anyway, one day we were on our way, and all of a sudden my father just dropped. I thought he was playing a joke, Bruce, but then I saw his face. I knew he was dead, and that fear, the terror of being left alone like that. And Bruce says, what was it? What killed him? And he says, it was a massive coronary. The doctor said he was dead before he hit the ground. So it just became what I wanted to do, heart surgeon. I was about to apply to med school when we got pregnant with you, though, and well, that changed things. And Bruce says, so this is a guilt trip? And he laughs. Ha, no. But I did go through this period of searching, looking for I wanted to be, who I was beyond a father, a husband. And what I realized was that my desire to be a doctor was really just about wanting to prevent other kids from feeling what I felt that morning. As a teacher, though, I could make kids feel safe by preparing them for the world. Maybe in some other life, I am a doctor. That's funny. But in this one, teaching gives me a way of doing that, the core thing. Anyway, I'm going to help your mom with dinner, but this is amazing, really. And so he looks at this rock and throws it there. Bruce, it's time now. What is it you want to say? So, this is some old style writing where the last panel, Alan Moore does this a lot, where the last thing he writes really goes to the next page. And so at the trial, Bruce says, I know Mr. Chill gets to make a statement today, but before that, I wanted to say that I've had a moment to think about everything that happened that day. And I just wanted to say what I realized. Because that morning, it was so perfect. I'd won the trip for our class, and I was walking into the zoo with my friends. Oh no, poor Bruce. It was his trip. And we were laughing about how weird the giraffes were, their tongues all long and black. The best part was my dad. I was playing it like I didn't notice, but behind me I caught a glimpse and he was proud of me. And I knew at that moment, I knew that this was as happy as it gets. Ever. I wanted to stay in it, to never leave. Poor Bruce. And so, now we're back to older Bruce. And so, let's see if I can figure out the dialogue. I think this is young Bruce still speaking here. I think maybe I was still coming at it wrong, Dad. Okay. I will just figure out who is saying what. I think this is Bruce talking to his dad, so maybe this is before he's dying. But you can see here, older Bruce is leaving Gotham. Oh yeah, how so? I was thinking about the bridge, not the people. That's where you start. And the dad says, "Go on." As young Bruce, as older Bruce watches. The people, they just want to live, to flourish. But this place, like the assignment says, it's been hit by disaster. Maybe natural, more likely man-made, but it's in trouble. And so he's riding his bike here. The people, the brave face or not, they've got to be worried about what's going to happen. They look around and see things falling apart. And these, I think, are closed buildings here. They're hurting. They're feeling like no one sees them. Like they're at the mercy of all those forces that seem beyond their control, powerless. Some are angry at everyone who let them down, and some are scared and hunkering. But it's bad. And Bruce continues here. You killed that happiness, Mr. Chill, so I'm not staying for anything you have to say. I don't care what made you do what you did. I just need you to know that I hate you, Mr. Wayne. I freaking hate you. You hear me? And so he walks away, or he's walking through, and the guy's just kind of looking down. And Bruce sees these bats coming out of the caverns, and he looks. So what are you saying, Bruce? So back to the dad. I'm saying maybe in another place and time, something else would be enough. But here in this place at this moment, their bat needs to be all of it plus more. And the dad says, explain. It should be intimidating, but even more so, like scary as he continues to work out. Maybe it should be more adaptable than ever. So all the stuff that he's putting to protect himself. It should map. Oh my gosh! It map farther than before? That makes no sense. It should. What do you guys think? No, that doesn't make sense. Roosting in all sorts of new places, just taking spots over, and you see the buildings here. So what have you built, Bruce? And so he's going record, testing bat thumb. And so new gadget here. I'm kind of nervous to show you. It's a little weird. And so he's trying this thing here. Maybe a lot weird. That's cool. Stop stalling, kid. Let's see it. And this is, of course, the thing that he puts on the axis symbol. And he's like, hello there. Ta-da! So it's got everything the other design had, but this one, it's got one extra feature. It flies. And the dad says, come on. Really, it's lightweight, foldable, so it can be dropped from a plane and parachute down, so people can just set it up themselves. There are instructions here on the flap. See? It'd be a tool to use however they need. They don't have to rely on the powers that be to set it up. Makes the bridge theirs. They can use it for aid, for defense, even offense. And so you see Batman at the top of a building here, looking down a windowsill. Is that what it's called? Anyway, the annual dance for a better Gotham charity ball. Gotham's finest mingle, then sponsor a competition in which youth dance groups from different neighborhoods compete for prizes. Me, I'm here for him, Randall Powers, the billionaire who owns the trucking conglomerate the Maronis and the Falcones were using. In the news, he was horrified by what I exposed, vowed to support new regulations on his trucks, but I hear him lobbying Max Mooney, head of the GDOT, against tighter transit laws, promising money. It takes everything in my body not to bust through the skylight and put him on the dance floor. Oh, skylight, yeah, that's the name. Instead, I keep listening. I listen to Jackson Ellis, the EPA chief, back dealing with William Acme, one of the biggest polluters in Gotham. I listen to the politicians who vowed to bring factory jobs back to the heights, begging the automation giants for donation. I listen to all of you, so many who are supposed to be protecting the city or who could help so easily but choose not to. Choose instead to stay up here laughing and eating. Real quick, on something I always say, politicians, left or right, politicians are politicians. They are, a lot of them are all for corruption. If you look at corruption, it's Democrats, it's Republicans, it's everybody. Everybody can be bought. All of this, these corporations get away with things because they have the means, and people are greedy. The vast majority of people look out for themselves, and politicians crave power and look to stay in power. So this is, people ask why things never get done. Well, this is why. So anyway, Batman continues here. Like there's nothing left of this city to eat. No, you ate it all years ago and ate well. It's just bones now. But I hear you, says thinks Batman, and I love this with the like I said, I think this is markers here. A few store-bought GCM ears hidden beneath that dance floor. Not to mention the thermal coil that'll flash heat the gold to 150 degrees in a moment. Just hot enough so we get to watch you dance for once, even if it's only for a second. But no one can touch you up here, right? In this little mad kingdom of yours at the top of the world, I'm coming for you. And so Bruce says, it even has bus stops for those hard-to-reach places. And he says, what, too much? And the dad goes, maybe too much is good these days. That's what I'm saying, because I really thought about it. I did. And so Batman looks, and then the two helicopters up here. You there, lie with your hands behind your back. Anyway, the other Bruce continues. And what makes a bat at its core for me, and Batman jumps here, is that it defies the impossible. And this is a great splash page here. It's the only mammal on Earth that flies, Dad. The only one. It's this crazy little creature that shows us we can beat anything holding it down. To this bat, nothing is impossible. Despite what anyone tells you, it says go bigger, go higher. real quick. Let me go back into it because that is just so cool. That's a good image. I like this artist. Go places you didn't think you could. So what do you think? I think it's ready. And so we got older Bruce going to go see Joe Chill. And he looks fist clenched. He looks and he says, well, you had something you wanted to say. And then we get our credits. The absolute, the 200. I thought it could be the zoo. You know what? I've been saying the 200, but that doesn't make sense. But it does look like a number 2. Is this the zoo? It has to be because his dad was killed in the zoo. Maybe I've been saying it wrong. So, Scott Snyder and Gabriel Hernandez Walta. So I don't know if he's a Spaniard or from Latin America. So yeah, not bad. I really like Absolute Batman. So I think it's really, really good. So the zoo. Huh. I always thought it was the 200. Huh. Okay. So I've been saying it wrong, the other 3 parts. So all right. Absolute Batman number 4 from this year, 2025, by Scott Snyder and Gabriel Hernandez Walta. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.